Yeshiva World.
Mora Rabbi Side, ladies and gentlemen, it was approximately 40 years ago when my father came home from shul one night, and he told my mother that he saw a sign in shul that they were looking for volunteers to take a first aid course to help the community. As kind of foreign as it sounded, my father went with a few people from Kew Gardens to a training class which was held in Yeshiva Monsey, and they learned about Hatzolah and they took a first aid course. When they completed the first aid class, they were told they would need around $12,000 to get going. And while most of the people threw their hands in despair and said, "We'll never do that," my father did not despair and very quickly raised the necessary funds, most of it coming through Fred Freeman, then the president of the Kew Gardens Synagogue. From the very humble beginnings in those days, with just green lights, no ambulances, a few oxygen tanks, and really, really old-fashioned beepers, which we thought were very modern in those days, Queens Hatzolah then spread to Forest Hills, then Kew Garden Hills, then Hillcrest, then Holliswood, and most recently, all the way out, as you mentioned, to Great Neck. In the early 1980s, when the Hatzolah ambulance license only covered a few neighborhoods throughout New York City, Queens Hatzolah was then the trailblazer who expanded the Hatzolah ambulance throughout New York City. And actually my father was the trailblazer who also helped get the Catskills license. Our very first ambulance was purchased in 1980 for $20,000. And while most people here probably never even heard of it, some of the old timers like Shir Reichman and Maddie Shatzkus, happy birthday, tonight's your birthday. They used to transport in station wagons, and then Queens Hatzolah purchased a Suburban with a folding stretcher while waiting for the license to come through. In the early to mid 1990s, my father passed the reins over to me. With incredible and unreal siyata d'shmaya, Queens Hatzolah has continued to grow and prosper, undeterred by the financial challenges that naturally come along with unprecedented growth. The original founders and central members withstood many trials and tribulations from many city and state agencies, and they understood how, unfortunately, the words of Chazal are true, that b'chol yoyim v'yoyim, aimdim aleinu l'chal yiseinu. And as Rabbi Sokolov mentioned, Hatzolah literally operates on Nisim. It is a miracle that Hatzolah is operating the way it is. Issues such as billing Medicare and insurances were discussed many times and unanimously discarded time after time for these reasons. It was around 10 years ago that this issue was brought up again and opposed by many coordinators from many neighborhoods throughout Hatzolah for multiple reasons. At that point, there were ongoing discussions with the Vada Rabbanim of Hatzolah and multiple attorneys, and this effort was abruptly put to an end by no less than the Rebbeinu Shalom himself. Despite all that, this issue has come up yet again, and the natural inclination to obtain free money has slowly but surely spread from one neighborhood to the next. HaRav Kalman said, it is my humble opinion, as well as the opinion of HaRav Kalman Epstein Shlita, that for Hatzolah to do this kind of move is a most terrible mistake. The reasons for this are many. However, this is not the forum for such a discussion, nor is it the point of my words this evening. Strange as it may sound, despite the obvious issues with billing, the Queens coordinators have caved to pressure from the Central Committee and have decided to jump on the bandwagon and move forward with billing. For this reason, along with many other reasons, I have decided to take this forum an opportunity to let you know that over the next few weeks, I will be submitting my resignation from my position as the president of Queens Hatzolah before the end of 2018. And I would like to continue and operate as a paramedic and continue saving lives. It has been more than 40 years that my father and I have had the privilege to be at the helm of this most holy and revered organization. During these 40 years, Queens Hatzolah has had the tremendous chus of being guided first by Moreno HaRav Epstein and Yibadal ben Chaim L'Chaim, most recently by the Rosh Yeshiva HaRav Kalman Epstein. Under their guidance and with their support, we can proudly say the following. As mentioned, we have spread our service area from Kew Gardens all the way across Queens out to Great Neck. We have grown from the very early days of one call every 5 weeks to multiple calls each and every day. We have researched, put a tremendous effort, and purchased and made available to you, the members, the safest and best ambulances known to man, irrespective of the cost. We are virtually the only large neighborhood throughout Hatzolah where all our calls are answered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, rain or shine, summer and winter, even on the fringe areas out of our neighborhood. We're also proud to say that we have the best and quickest night response with an ambulance on the scene anywhere throughout the Hatzolah system. We have had to deal with many sensitive issues, which were always dealt with using the utmost sensitivity, and more often than not, only after consulting with Das Torah. As the clock strikes midnight on January 1st, 2019, this holy organization will be making a 180-degree turn. And while still an amazing chesed apparatus, the change in philosophy is dramatic, and the ripple effects are surely just beginning to be felt, with more tremors, earthquakes, and tsunamis on the horizon. However, this organization is not something that I feel comfortable leading at this point, and thus clearly it is best that I make way for others who clearly think that this is the ethical and proper direction for this holy organization. Before I leave, as I reflect on the last 40 years, I would like to start by thanking each and every one of you, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. While I know that not all coordinators in Hatzolah share my leadership style and thoughts, to me, any person who gets out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning and goes on calls, or leaves shul, or leaves work, or the gym, or wherever he may find himself at any time, should always be treated as a VIP. We are in a room full of VIPs. By say anyone who is an active member is a VIP. And everybody deserves to be treated as such. And I really would like to take this opportunity to ask Mechila from each and every one of you, if I didn't treat you with the proper respect you deserve, if I was a little too harsh on you. There have been times when we've had to discipline members, but I want you to know that I tried every single time to do it in the proper way. I know that sometimes people have called me, and it may have taken me a day or two, or sometimes 3 to call you back. But even when I did, I think I always made sure to treat everybody with respect, even when something needed to be said. While the hour is late, and there's a lot of great food for you to eat, there are a few people who I feel I really need to mention as I look back over the last 40 years. First and foremost, I need to publicly thank the Rebbeinu Shalom for having allowed my father and myself to run this organization from the very beginning through today. The schus we have had is unimaginable, and the siyata d'shmaya we have had is beyond human comprehension. The Gemara tells us, Es l'rabbis talmidei chachamim. I must publicly thank the Rosh Yeshiva HaRav Epstein, and now his son, HaRav Kalman Epstein, who primarily through Hatzolah allowed me and my family to develop a tremendously personal kesher with them, which has spread throughout our entire family. They have been available to Hatzolah and to us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and it pains me greatly to see the great tsar the Rosh Yeshiva is now having because of this whole billing issue. Dr. Plowers, I don't see Dr. Plowers tonight. Thank you for being our medical director for the past 30 years. Dr. Plowers has held ALS call review meetings virtually every month for the last 30 years. Thank you especially to Mayor Summers for putting that together. In the last 20 years or so, they've been held in Mayor's house. Dr. Plowers has put his license on the line and has been available to us for everything we need. Dr. Plowers has already resigned from his position as medical director as of the end of the year. Dr. Plowers, you served in your position with great honor and distinction for many years after being encouraged to do so by Rav Zelik. You literally stuck your neck out for Hatzolah for so many years. and I'm sure that the Yodea Ta'alumos will bless you and your entire family for many years to come. Those of us who had the merit to consult with you and learn from your medical expertise and experience will always appreciate the many things you did. I also need to publicly thank my wife Dina and all my beautiful children who have so proudly stood beside me for all these years as I was often dealing with various Hatzolah issues and attending nearly daily meetings. Dina, I could not have done this without you. Thank you for always being at my side and for always being there for me through thick and thin, no matter what. This is also the time to make a special thank you to the Hatzolah wives, children, and family members, those who are here tonight and those who haven't been able to make it tonight, who sacrificed so much to allow their husbands, fathers, children to be able to go on calls. For without the Neshois Chayil behind us, none of what Hatzolah is would have been possible. While as mentioned, every single member in this room and those who are in here is a VIP and should be treated as such. There are some who really deserve special mention. And I beg for forgiveness if I have left a few out. But if we look back at 40 years of blood and sweat with so many people, it's inevitable to leave a few people out, and it's impossible to sum all this up in a few minutes. One can certainly not forget the original crew who really got Hatzolah in Queens going from the very beginning. Of course, under the leadership of my father, HaRav Rowe, Volvi Katz, Simcha Gleish, David Tusk, Judd Mansbech, Maddie Schatzkes, Joel Silverberg, Yitzi Levine, Izzy Bachner, Shia Reichman, Rabbi Kalman Bauman, Rabbi Shai Richmond, and many others. In more recent years, most of you really don't have a clue of the amount of work that is involved in the administration and keeping the organization going. And I'm just going to list a number of the people who I am in awe of what they've done. People like Moshe Altuski, Sam Cohen. I suggest we stop the clapping because others will be here all night. Simi Simanowitz, Charles Grove, Ori Alpert, my dear brother Eli, who in essence founded our entire ALS program, Eli Adler, Akiva Winehouse, Akiva Palmer, Maya Summers, Charlie Cohen, Tully Joseph, Shalom Brookstein, Nussi Elbogen, Nachum Sherman, Judd Mansbach, Oliver Shalom, Jeff Sokol, Moshe Ledova, Oliver Shalom, Ari Senft, Ari Elbogen, Moshe Goldberg, those of you who remember, Duvi Goldberg, Jonathan Aminoff, how can we forget? It's 4 in the morning. Chaim Gordson, Michael Vatch, Dach Weiss, Duvi Rowe, Shai Kamenetsky, Moshe Rowe, and so many others. This is just a short list of the members who go above and beyond, besides going on calls day and night. I am absolutely in awe of what you guys do 24/7, 365. You guys have been available for the community, never expecting a dollar, never receiving a dollar for your efforts. And I know that I was guilty for not thanking you enough, but I know that I did virtually each and every time that I saw you. Not only are you VIPs, you are superheroes, and only Hashem will ever be able to pay you back. Over the last few years, as you know, we have had much hatzlacha with our fundraising efforts, and I have had the great opportunity to serve on amazing committees with people such as Rabbi Yechiel Nagdiman, Yechiel Zlatnik, Moshe Altuski, yes, the same Moshe Altuski who does so much with our buses and CMEs, also spent time with fundraising, Benji Kalonji, and Shia Reichman, who so graciously opens up his home and his good name to spearhead so many of our very successful fundraising projects. It would be very wrong of me not to mention Naftali Farber, who has served as our pro bono accountant for more than 25 years, and who has literally become part of our family. Naftali, may the Rebbeinu Shalom comfort you over the recent loss of your mother, and on behalf of Hatzolah, I wish to thank you for everything you have done for Hatzolah. Not just all the many hours, but the genuine caring and feelings that you have for this organization are just an inspiration to us all. I know how frustrated you are about the changes that are coming, and we have discussed this issue at length. Naftali, I cherish our friendship, and I know that all the members joining me in wishing you much hatzlacha in everything that you do. In closing, I want to specifically thank my father, who has been the founder of Hatzolah in Queens, and has been my shining light throughout my years as a coordinator. Daddy, I have tried to make you proud, and to make sure that every member is always treated like a hero, and recognized for the tremendous chesed they do. We have made sure that every call was covered, and I always did everything I could do to encourage the members with a smile and a friendly push. You taught me time and time again that every decision in Hatzolah has to be based on pikuach nefesh only, without money or ulterior motives being even a minor factor. You never took the easy way out. You were never scared of a challenge, and you never failed to stand up for the emes, even when you had to go against the flow. Of course, always in direct consultation with HaRav Epstein. As we have discussed in great detail, it is clear that the time has come for me and our family to move on. And we can only hope and pray that this organization will continue to save lives and has done so gracefully for so many years in the past. Bottom line, the era of Hatzolah as we have known it for the last 40 years is coming to an abrupt end. One can only hope and pray to the Resignation that the new Hatzolah organization will be blessed with immense hatzlacha and will be able to continue the holy mission for many years to come. Ad bias Mashiach tzidkeinu b'mheira v'yameinu. I'd like to take all this opportunity to wish everybody a freilich and Chanukah, and thank you again for making Queens Hatzolah the crown jewel of all chesed organizations in Queens and beyond. Have a freilich and Chanukah.